Marjo, but for Marginally, this is the Rorschach, Georgia update from the 18th of June, 2026. Quick summary of what's going down in Georgia. Friday the 12th, opposition channel TV Pirvelian aired video footage of officers brutally beating 3 detainees inside a police station to extract confessions. 32-year-old IT specialist Georgi Kvitsaridze obtained the footage by infiltrating an internal police group chat where officers shared over 30 videos of their own abusive behavior. His mother handed 5 of these videos to the channel and said that authorities arrested her son on fabricated drug charges in retaliation. The Ministry of Internal Affairs confirmed that the footage was real and the incident happened in Kobuleti in 2022. They also said prosecutors charged those 3 officers in February of this year. While the ruling party maintained that this was an isolated case, opposition groups and NGOs say that the footage is yet another proof of systematic use of torture by police. On Monday the 15th, Amnesty International published a report entitled Georgia Anatomy of Repression, 500 Days of Protest Crackdowns and Resilience. Human rights organization revealed that the ruling party built a sophisticated system of repression with astonishing speed to consolidate political power. The report detailed how the government weaponized state institutions, biased courts, and aggressive police tactics to systematically crush political dissent. Over the last 500 days, authorities arrested thousands of peaceful demonstrators, heavily fined critics, froze NGO bank accounts, and subjected hundreds to physical abuse and torture. Amnesty called on international partners to suspend all supplies of police equipment and surveillance technology to Georgia until independent bodies fully investigate these widespread state-sanctioned abuses. Link to the full 60-page report in the show notes. Next up, on Thursday the 4th, 43-year-old Georgian immigrant Mamuka Artmeladze died in U.S. immigration custody. Authorities found Artmeladze unconscious in his cell at a Louisiana detention center. Doctors pronounced him dead shortly after his arrival at a local hospital. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officially detained Artmeladze in New Orleans back in February during a public safety operation targeting commercial vehicle drivers, arresting him after discovering he lacked legal immigration status. Artmeladze is the 50th person to die under the current U.S. administration's tightened immigration policies, as they're so called, which critics say has caused detention center mortality rates to skyrocket. On Monday the 15th, Ministry of Internal Affairs announced that its newly established Systemic Monitoring Division has pushed 60 hate speech and defamation cases to court in just 16 days since its creation. Introduced by Mamuka Mdineradze, the State Minister for Law Enforcement Coordination, the controversial department specifically monitors social media platforms targeting Facebook posts to flag aggressive speech and insults against political figures. Human rights advocates view the unit as a state censorship mechanism. On Monday the 10th, the Ministry of Internal Affairs appointed Georgi Bakhuashvili as the new deputy minister. While Bakhuashvili briefly directed the ministry's Internal Affairs Bureau, investigative journalists revealed that he spent years serving as the personal bodyguard of Bidzina Ivanishvili, the billionaire founder of the ruling party. Critics view his promotion to a top law enforcement position as a move by Ivanishvili to tighten his grip on state security by appointing people whose loyalty lies directly with him. The ruling party is sending heavily mixed signals regarding its strained relationship with the European Union. On Monday the 15th, Parliamentary Speaker Shalva Papuashvili launched a sharp attack on Brussels, stating that an EU proposal to restrict veto rights for new member states creates a form of rights segregation. He says that a bloc divided into first and second class nations is not an institution Georgia desires to join. Just days later, during committee meetings in Luxembourg, Foreign Relations Chair Nicolas Samkharadze took a highly conciliatory approach, announcing that the government wants to restart dialogue with the European Commission and stands ready to negotiate on all issues, including the controversial foreign agents law. While Georgia continues on an increasingly autocratic path, the European Union officially opened its first formal extension negotiation cluster with Ukraine and Moldova on Monday the 15th. On Monday the 15th, Georgian public broadcaster host Liza Bagration and the network executives issued a public apology following fierce criticism over a live broadcast incident. During a live show on the 9th of June, a 10-year-old girl fainted and collapsed on stage while performing with a choir. The broadcast did not stop, and no one seemed to help the child for several minutes. Network management defended the crew against intense backlash, saying that staff genuinely failed to notice the accident and would have cut the live feed immediately had they seen it. However, critics and the child's family reject this defense, accusing the broadcaster of callousness and negligence for allowing a live transmission to continue uninterrupted while a child lay unconscious on the floor. On Thursday, the 11th, the Tbilisi court sentenced currency exchange booth owner Kacha Kotorashvili to 11 years in prison for laundering an unprecedented $665 million, 1.8 billion lari, between 2022 and 2024. An organized ring smuggled 59 billion Russian rubles from Azerbaijan into Georgia using hidden vehicle compartments. Kotorashvili then funneled the cash through his business into local banks using falsified documents, averaging an operational volume equivalent to over $600,000 a day. While the defendant is exercising his right to silence and refusing to make any statements to the press, his lawyer confirmed they do not agree with the verdict and will appeal. On Tuesday, the 16th, Georgia's State Security Service charged the former head of Georgian Railways, David Peradze, and 7 others in a massive corruption and money laundering crackdown. Investigators say Peradze, who led the state railway from 2017 to 2025, formed a structured criminal ring in 2019. The group allegedly stole over 22,000 tons of state-owned scrap metal by intentionally moving it without weighing it, slicing it up to hide the true volume, and using shell companies to create fake receipts. They systematically routed the stolen metal to the geosteel plant in Rustavi, selling it for over 17 million lari, which is over $6 million. 6 suspects have already been arrested, while law enforcement has launched a manhunt for Peradze and 1 other accomplice. On Saturday the 13th, a French court sentenced 6 Georgian citizens for running a highly sophisticated ring that stole millions of dollars worth of rare 19th century Russian books from libraries across Europe. The crew, consisting of 5 men and 1 woman, targeted masterpieces by Pushkin, Gogol, and Lermontov in France, Germany, Switzerland, and Czechia. They posed as researchers to photograph and measure the books, later swapping the originals with near-perfect copies. 2 suspects were tried in absentia because Georgia does not extradite its citizens. The ringleader, Mikhail Z., received a 7-year sentence. Investigators suspect the operation is tied to a network funneling Russian cultural heritage to Russia, especially since 1 stolen edition already resurfaced at a Moscow auction. None of the books have been recovered. On Sunday the 14th, featherweight champion Ilia Topuria suffered his first professional loss at UFC 50, held on the White House lawn to celebrate America's 250th birthday. It was also Donald Trump's birthday. Entering the historic anniversary event as the clear betting favorite, Topuria's undefeated streak ended in one of the largest upsets in mixed martial arts history. Lots of conversation in Georgia about how that went over. Georgian fighter was hospitalized immediately after the fight with 2 fractured eye orbitals, an injury that severely impaired his vision from the opening round before his corner stopped the fight. In an in-depth article by Anna Gvirishvili entitled How Fundraising for DMD Children Became a Safe Form of Resistance in Georgia, examines how a student-led charity campaign evolved into a powerful tool for civic defiance. Text details how the Protect Iliauni student movement launched a 100-hour live stream marathon to raise money for children suffering from Duchenne muscular dystrophy, directly challenging Prime Minister Irakli Kobakhidze's refusal to fund their life-saving medication. Gladishvili writes that as the ruling party aggressively raised the cost of street protests through heavy fines and arrests, the fundraiser provided citizens with a safe alternative way to resist state apathy. The analysis concluded that by forcing the government to eventually concede and purchase the drugs, the campaign proved Georgian society still retains its powerful ability to mobilize against authoritarian control. Link to the full article in the show notes. And that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. Anything to ask or tell us? info@rorschach.com. Alhamdis.